Testing, testing, one, two, three. This is your host of the Bobby Brown podcast, the Bobby Brown Show, Bob TV. I've been having some technical difficulties. I heard that my last video, some people didn't hear the audio. Maybe that's the reason why I was taken down. But hopefully we are on now. I have no way of communicating. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find a way to communicate while I'm streaming, because the thingamajig I'm using, that's a country word, thingamajig. The thingamajig I'm using is not working like it normally do. I don't know what's going on. So let me do the thingamajig and see where we at on this. See if we're actually live. And this is one of the reasons why I don't go live, is because I have these technical difficulties. But when I do pre-recorded stuff, I don't have these issues at all. And I can't even see you guys to tell me whether I'm on or not, which sucks, man. I don't know what to say about that. All right, give me a second. All right, and I'm not going to be long on here. Okay, I can hear myself up here. All right, so. All right, recently, Craig Melvin, MSNBC, Pretty Rick is what they call him, and had an interview with Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris. Let me put some respect. Let me put some spec on her name. Some speckle on her name. And the big word was he tough on Kamala Harris? So I decided to pull up the video. I haven't seen it. This is in real time. I heard Whoopi Goldberg had something to say about her precious Kamala Harris and going after her. So first I want to see if he actually went after her. I want to know what's said. What kind of bullcrap interview? Is it softball or rock or brick? Because if it was up to me, I'd be throwing bricks. I'm throwing bricks at you. Or did he throw her a cotton ball? And even in that, why are these elitist Democratic suck-ups getting upset at Craig? Pretty Ricky is what they call him. So we're going to go into this. Let me bring myself up. We're going to go into this in detail. What up, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, wherever I'm at. Welcome. Got to get this done. I know I look stupid with these big headphones. I cannot find my monitor so I can hear everything through the system. So bear with me. I know I'm looking like, and somebody's trying to call me. Please, I don't know why people do this stuff. Oh, Jesus, give me a second. Hey, people trying to call me. Where's this crap coming from? And why I'm hearing it up here. So let me cut this thing off. Bear with me, people. I'm sorry. All right, so we're going to get into this bad boy and see what we're talking about. Okay? Give me a second. I want to make sure I let the people on Twitter know that I'm live. I got to get more better at this type of stuff, Got this slow computer, man. I don't know what's going on. All right, so we're going to get it right smack into this interview. I'm going to try to bring it up full screen. I don't think I got a chance to bring it up on the side view. But let me see if I can bring it up on the side view before we go any further. How you guys doing today? I hope you're doing okay. Despite the situation that's going on. Look at that. I'm all over the place, man. All over the place. All right, so we're going to get right into it. And let me go ahead and get this disclaimer out, as always. In good faith, this work contains fair use of copyrighted and non-copyrighted materials from the public domain and web for non-commercial and non-profit educational purposes. This work is distributed free of charge. I'm not charging anything. The author has neither monetized this work nor saw any profit from its distribution. Not trying to sell this. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for the purpose such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit or educational purposes, personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This work contains original work of commentary and critical analysis, quotations, and quotations are attributed to the original author and its source. Let me make sure I can hear myself. All right, yes, I do. Okay, so let me see if I can see this chats up here. I got to do it through my phone. I don't know why I'm not able to do it through anything else. All right, so we're going to get into it. All right, so Craig Melvin decides to interview Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris polling is down. Right now, she do not look like a good option for vice president. The only way she's going to become vice president is literally over Joe's dead body. Joe Biden's at the age where, you know, what they call it, the average age of passing away in this country is what, 75? Well, he's right around that age. So literally, that's the only way she's going to ever become president. Other than that, she will never ever be president, never ever. She can't even make it past. If she would have ran for re-election as state senator of California, she would have lost. That's the reason why Joe Biden saved her butt by asking her to be on his team. He literally saved her career. And not for her, but for himself. He saw a win-win situation for him. And it's not for her, but for him. So we're going to get in this interview. So she has to do it around. So we showed the video her on Charlemagne the God. She appeared here. She appeared over there. She appeared everywhere. Now she's here on NBC talking to Craig Melvin. Let's get into the interview. And yes, I will be stopping to comment and also to make sure you can hear Craig talking, because the last particular thing I did, you could not hear Craig talking at all. Let's get it. All right, can I make this thing bigger? Is it possible? Yes, it is. All right, here we go.
Hospitalizations, adults and children. We've seen the infection record broken this week as well. You've seen the long lines of folks who are waiting to get tested. A lot of folks can't even get a test. I think a lot of people are scratching their heads and they're wondering, 1 year into this.
Now, give me a second, guys.
I think a lot of people.
All right, so I just want to make sure I can hear Craig talking. Now, we just recently did a video that didn't come out. I'm going to have to redo it again on this. Of course, the numbers are record-breaking with Omicron. It is easy to catch. Thank God it's only producing mild symptoms similar to a cold or a flu. Thank God. Now, I'm not a fan. I think every sickness and disease is an atrocity. I believe every sickness and disease come from the devil. I don't never sit up there and say God put it on them, as people think God put it on them. Well, every time I read something in the Bible, God touched somebody and they got healed. So I'm not blaming God for this thing. I blame that devil. So, of course, the lines are long because people know they can carry this and not be affected by it. And it's a good opportunity to get tested. And testing sites went up big time because as soon as the vaccine came out, the testing sites start to shut down. You didn't see too many places testing. But now testing is big business right now, again, because of Omicron and because the easiness of its effectiveness to get you, it's so easy to get infected with Omicron. The business side of testing has gone up tremendously. Man, they're even hiring $25 an hour around here to test people for COVID. You know, it's vans all over the place. And the lines are long. Craig Melvin talked about the car lines. Well, if the lines are long, just standing up, of course the car line's going to be long if you got a testing facility at a particular location. And we shouldn't have never shut those down anyway, for the simple fact that until we got this thing to herd immunity, you got to assume people still can catch it. You got to assume that a vaccine isn't going to be isn't going to 100% get you out of this situation. It's a help, it's an assistant, but it's not going to get you out of this situation. And the best thing is natural herd immunity, not unnatural herd immunity. Unnatural herd immunity means using a chemically based vaccine to try to get people to herd immunity status. But let's get back into this.
Administration.
What's up with the blue socks with gray suit and the green tie, Craig? Coordinate, brother.
Why aren't we doing better in the fight against COVID?
So let me start with saying that people are rightly frustrated with where.
Now, you notice she can't answer a question straight up. She always gotta try to do obfuscating. She's not a good politician. You can see that she's trying to dodge questions, but in her trying to dodge the question, it hit her in the face and knocked her like, I can't actually believe he hit me with that question. I was trying to dodge it. You know, you played dodgeball before. Your whole point is not to get hit, and if you get hit, you out. She tries her best not to get hit, but every time she try to duck, she get hit, smacked in the face, and she don't know how to handle the situation. Watch this. Watch this.
Where we are. We're frustrated. We're all frustrated. I walked in here wearing a mask. None of us like to wear masks, right? But I think it's a mistake, and it would be a mistake to suggest that we've not seen great progress.
Who said that we haven't seen progress? I think it's a mistake. I don't give a crap about what you think. Nobody said we haven't seen great progress. People not dropping down like flies, especially those with more core mobilities. So ain't nobody saying that we haven't seen any progress. Not enough progress. We could be further down the road of herd immunity if we had an all approach option on the table. No closed doors, no mocking and ridiculing anything else that could possibly be used for COVID. No, let's look into that. How do you administrate? What is the process of taking this? How you take this? How many days you take this? Let's test this. Let's look at it. Who are the people, if they don't mind coming forward to talk about it? I know that there's a thing called attorney-client privilege, doctor-client privilege, but they can always sign a waiver to come forward and talk about what they did, what that thing did in them during the process.
If you think back to March of 2020, we were all wiping down the boxes that we got if we ordered things online. There was no vaccine. We didn't know how this thing was transmitted. We didn't know how to deal with it in terms of what possible cures there would be. Now we have.
And we still don't know. We still don't know how to handle it. We still don't know how to deal with it because every time we figure we got something, a hold of it, another variant come out. It's just like you're not going to ever get a hold of the flu. Oh, you can get people flu shots. They don't ever call it flu vaccines. So I don't know why we call this a vaccine, because you're going to be dealing with COVID. CDC says it. The NIH has said it. The World Health Organization has said it. COVID ain't going nowhere. It's here to stay. It's going to be like colds, flus, all that kind of stuff. And you're going to have to be offered shots consistently for a while, for a long time. There are going to be COVID shots that you'll get opportunity to take once, twice, 3 times a year. If it's up to Big Pharma, they'll do it monthly. Because that's what they're pretty much doing right now.
A vaccine, which has proved to be effective, and boosters. Now we have our children back in school, 95% of...
I know you said, Rob, why you keep talking? The vaccine has been proven to be effective. What is the effectiveness of the vaccines? It keeps you out of the hospital. That's it. It keeps you out of hospital. Well, to keep you from dying? Of course, if you're not going to the hospital, of course you're not going to die. The point of the vaccine is to keep you out the hospital. But the point of a flu shot is to keep you out of the hospital. And other types of shots that you get to keep you out of the hospital. The reason why you get shots for contraceptive shots is to keep you from having a baby. The reason they put those things in ladies' arms is so they can't get pregnant. Of course, it has its purpose. But the way they make it try to look is that this is the only way to get to where we need to get to. And it's not. It's one way, but not the only way.
Schools are back open. Now we have treatments that are available for people if they do contract the virus that can help prevent them from getting worse.
We've been had treatment. Let me calm down. As you know, I had COVID in late March 2020. I caught it when I went to the grocery store right before they shut New York down. I was proactive. I had my gloves on. Most people didn't know about the glove. I had my mask on. Most people didn't know about the mask. And because I was seeing the girl that worked at the hospital, she liked me, she wanted to be with a brother, so she was hooking me up with gloves and all that kind of stuff, masks. And I was going in with my gloves and mask on, everybody looking at me like I'm some kind of dummy. Everybody else in the grocery store, maskless. Grocery store is packed. So COVID is being spread all over the place. This was in Mount Vernon. I got out, decided to take the mask off to get some fresh air, and the mask turned around and went right in my mouth. Later on that day, I was feeling off. Tried to sleep it off. Next day, no problem. Then all of a sudden, my chest started to seize up a little bit. So I decided to go to the doctor's office, the hospital. Hospital told me, we're only reserving this for somebody who's definitely ill for COVID. And right now, your oxygen level is still at a point where we can't accept you into the hospital. Go home. Take this thermometer, this little monitor. They gave me this thing to put on my finger to check my oxygen level. Pretty much, hey, take this home, and if you get worse, then call us. The point is, you got to attack this thing as soon as possible. To go home and wait to get worse ain't helping, but that was what they told us to do, and many of us did that, and many people did that, and it got worse, and then by the time they got to the hospital, it was too late. You have to knock that thing out within 5 to 7 days. So my doctor, who happens to be from another country that deals with this type of stuff, they deal with viruses, all kind of viruses in their country, and they gave me some suggested treatment. Never said it was a cure, but some suggestive treatment. And they gave me that suggestive treatment, and I took that suggestive treatment. Day 1, my chest opened up. Day 1, the fever broke. By day 5, I was back to normal, but I couldn't really judge because they wasn't still letting you out the house here in New York. Man, people weren't going outside. And man, ambulances was the ambulance sirens were going back and forth 4 or 5 times a day. 4 or 5 times in 4 or 5 minutes. It was crazy. But they always had something to treat it. But this country got to make sure it go through FDA approval, got to make sure that the CNC endorsed it, or they tell them FDA don't approve this, CDC don't endorse this. You know, because a lot of these people are taking money from these pharmaceutical industry, and a pandemic and a virus is big business. Not saying that's what they're doing, but it is big business. Now, she got the nerve to say, now we got things to treat it as soon as you get it. Then why are y'all telling people to get vaccinated then? Why are you pushing the boosters? Why are you pushing everybody to get vaccinated? The people who have not gotten, let me calm down. If you got early treatment, why are you not preaching that? See, I've been preaching early treatment from day one. These people are old. These people need to catch up with the Bobby Brown show. I had to stop it here because this ticks me off, because had you had an all-hands-on approach and learned what other people were doing to deal with this thing within the first 7 days, we wouldn't have that many deaths. The death numbers would be way lower, because COVID is real, and at that time it was killing people by the droves. And one of the reasons why I was killing people by the droves is because we never had a all-hands approach option with the Trump administration. Let me keep going.
So we have made great progress, but there's no question. We've been under a pandemic for 2 years. Our economy basically it essentially crashed in terms of things coming to a standstill. We're seeing the effect of that in terms of the supply chain issue. But we're building back up, we're opening back up, and we are not where we were a year ago. And we have to focus.
There go that dang politic finger. Whenever a politician do that mess right there, don't trust them. That hand closing that thumb out there is a signal that these people are going to con you no matter what.
On the fact that, yes, we still have to get through this. We're in the midst of a surge right now. There's no denying that. Right. But we've seen great progress. And we've seen progress in that the American people have taken it upon themselves to take control. In that, we have seen the vast...
Hold up. The American people taking control. Well, there's a lot of Americans who took their own control of their own destiny when it came to this COVID, and you crapped on them. You pooped on them. You R. Kelly'd all over them. Somebody mentioned ivermectin. You lose your freaking mind. Automatically smearing it as a horse pill, and it's not. They got a horse pill version, but ivermectin is a pill that's been, according to CDC, NHA, IH, and everything, they don't agree with that. FDA want to pull this crap and agree with the smear campaign, but most medical organizations will tell you ivermectin is an effective tool in helping deal with parasites. And yes, it has been known to be used for other things too, besides bugs, worms, and parasites. The same thing with HCQ. That if you use it properly, these things can be effective in dealing with sicknesses and disease. All manner. I can't say the word I want to say, because then they'll try to demonetize me. Well, I'm not monetized anyway, but they'll try to pull this video down. And if they do, you can find it on BitChute, and you can find it on Brand New Tube. If they do. Right now, we'll see.
Majority of people get vaccines.
Sure.
We need more people to get the booster, but people are also taking it upon themselves.
Why do you need to tell people to get something when they got something to treat it within 5 days, lady? According to you, they finally came up with something to treat it. All they did, in my honest opinion, all they did was took the old, cheap, repurposed medicine and repackaged it into something expensive. The stuff that the other countries were using because they didn't trust our vaccine process and don't trust vaccines, period. They use repurposed medication and have seen massive results, but these people don't want to share the information because it may drive you not to get the vaccine.
to do the things that are necessary to get through this, to get through it.
With regard to testing specifically, I mean, to your point, we're 2 years into this. Why didn't the administration just go out and secure more at-home tests after the Delta surge in the fall? Why are we at a point now where folks still can't get tests?
But we just ordered, I don't have the number in front of me, but millions of tests.
All right, so here we go. We stopped the testing, number one, because we bought into the fact that the vaccine was a cure. You had people all over the news at the beginning saying, including Rachel Maddow, I showed you the video, that it cannot spread from a vax person. A vax person may can catch it, but they can't become a host. They can't spread it. First is you couldn't get COVID. And you can get COVID, but it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to make you deathly ill. Some people still does, even with the vaccine. Most people it doesn't, but some people it does. You can't spread it. And that was a lie. But in that mindset of vax only, let's do whatever we can to get people vaxxed. Let's give them free weed. Butt cheek slaps. I mean, if you get the vaccine, you can slap her butt cheeks. I mean, you name it. They were coming up with everything. Free donuts, joints for jabs. They even had a brothel. You get the vaccine. If you can show you got vax, you can go ahead and get you some free. For real, look it up. And that didn't right. That failed to get people over the hump because they only got 65% of people in the country is vaccinated. They force you. Either you lose your job or get vaxxed. They trusted the vaccine to the point that they shut down most of the testing site. I'm over here right now looking at my window where there was a huge testing site and there's no more. They need to open it back up. I never believed that you should stop testing because I knew that you want to catch this thing right away, mainly so you can treat it right away. Even if you're not vaxxed, you can treat it right away because, as she said, they got treatment that you can use within 5 days that's going to help you defeat COVID at that moment. Not a cure. It doesn't eliminate it, doesn't wipe it off the face of the earth, but it could be a treatment. So they stopped producing. They shut down all the testing sites. They never really focused on personal production, on the shelf, over the counter type stuff until now. Now, when Jen Psaki was questioned by the reporter, why don't you offer it for free? She'd be like, why? What do you expect us to do? Offer it for free? Yeah, mother. Every other country is offering for free. Everything got to be about money with you with the United States. So eventually the people hit the Biden administration hard and it dropped the approval numbers even more with that one incident that they felt in order to get the numbers up, let's produce produce kits. Which the kits is not 100% accurate anyway. They'll tell you you don't have it and you still got it. So that's why you need to get a PCR test done with a actual, which takes a little bit longer. And in that effort now, testing kits is a big business. So now it's driving with the fear of Omicron. And there's no real fear, but the fear of it spreading so fast. COVID test is a big business. That's why I wish I started. Man, if I'd have started a COVID test company, boy, it's about to be on and popping, boy. More people are going to get rich with the testing, mainly Pfizer.
We have 20,000 sites where people can go, and I urge people you can Google it or go onto any search engine and find out where free testing on the free testing site is available, where you live and in your neighborhood. But we are doing that. We just sent out millions of tests to clinics, including community clinics, libraries, where people can go and get tests. We now just announced this week that if you have health insurance.
Sponsored by your tax dollars.
Your insurance will cover the cost of it.
But Madam Vice President, you know dealing with insurance companies is, I mean, for some folks, it's a nightmare. And the fact that we're still telling people to Google where you can get a test, and
well, but come on now. I mean, really, if you want to figure out how to get across town to some restaurant you heard is great, you usually do Google to figure out where it is, and then look through GPS to figure out the direction. So that's simple.
What the hell that got to do with it, lady? This guy, he was talking about the insurance and the insurance process of paying for this thing or finding out where they can get one, and then still got to come out of their pocket, but you want the insurance company to refund them all about getting the test. That's why I said this test thing, now they want to ramp up the testing. They scared the crap out of you about the Omicron, which is not even harming people with major deaths. Most of the people already had comorbidities, and they had comorbidities, and when they died, they had COVID, but they try to make it seem like the COVID was the reason when it really was the comorbidities with the COVID that caused the problem. But we got half of the world freaked out, so half of the world's going out there to get tested because we keep saying get tested, get tested, get tested. You might have Omicron. You might have Omicron. And then the fear of what Omicron may do when it's already been proven what Omicron will do got you out there scared as I don't know what, that you stand in a long old freaking line. I know, because I stood in those long lines often, and I had to finally say, forget this. I went to the hospital, which was quicker to get tested. Sure, I'm going to get a nice, I would get a nice bill, but thank God my union has Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I ain't got to worry about that. But some of you don't have that. I guarantee you, a lot of money is being made because the fear of you getting it and you need to get tested to see if you got it. Great sales strategy to get you to buy tests. Not saying you shouldn't be tested. Now, again, you should be tested. You should know whether you have it or not. But I don't want the politics and the drive of fear to get you out there to get tested. They didn't even want to offer you free testing. And they still don't want to offer you free testing. They still want you to go through your insurance company. Two things are going to happen. They're going to pass a bill where your tax dollars is going to pay these corporations big money to provide you with so-called free testing. It's not free. Your tax dollars paid for, so there's still an exchange, a monetary exchange. Or you go buy it yourself. And most people can't afford to do that.
About giving people, right, a mechanism by which they can locate something that they need, something that can help them. So
giving them a lift. So with my lift program, we get $500 per child. So you can go, let me stop, to go get you a COVID test. Nah, let me stop.
I think that it is, listen, we're all frustrated. I'm not going to pretend that we're not.
All right, so here she is. Craig Melvin asked her a simple question, not even a hardball or softball, and she can't even handle that right. What she is out there to do is to keep the doo-doo off the Democratic Party, because this party, even worse than Trump and with getting people taking care of COVID, the campaign to actually sell people into buying into vaccines and buying into shots isn't as effective as they thought it would be. It's effective to the point where we got people actually shaming the unvaxxed. So, some actually saying good enough if they got sick. Good enough for them. Should have got vaxxed. Well, you can get vaxxed and get sick, so good enough for you too when you get sick, bruh.
Want to get back to what we all consider to be normal. But it's going to take all of us to be a part of that.
Folks, I never stop being me. don't you ever stop being you. Don't you ever stop being. I still was going out. I still was having fun. I was still doing not letting no sickness and disease stop me. And you shouldn't either. And you shouldn't let these fools convince you that you should stop being you and stop living life normal, all because something invaded this country.
And there's no question that the federal government has a role and responsibility, as do state and local governments, and we're going to have to continue to bringing the services and the resources to the people.
Through your freaking tax dollars. We got to continue to bring it to the people, but you're going to be paying for it. And in some cases, you're going to be paying double. We're going to pay to get the supplies made, but in some cases, you're going to pay to get them.
Look at, for example, the issue of school. Okay, I'm sure there are lots of parents who are going to be watching this interview, right? Everybody agrees, whether it be parents, teachers, or students themselves, want the schools to be back open. Sure. Now 95% of them are. What did we need to do? We needed to address the fact that in particular our public schools need help with resources to improve their ventilation system. So we sent out $310 billion to the schools of America.
Paid for by your freaking tax dollars. How about just let the kids be kids? They were hardly getting infected. Not saying none of them wasn't, but majority was not getting effective to the point where it was bad for them. And even if it was, you still can treat them with the early treatment, right? Why they got to get a booster? Why they can't get something that's going to be in their system only for a little bit versus for a long time?
To help them get masks, do testing, get ventilation systems up to standard. So there is work that has been done.
Paid for by your tax dollars.
And there is still work to do.
This sermon that the administration's been preaching since the last spring when vaccines became widely available. Get your shot. Get a booster.
Yeah.
Wear your mask. Social distancing. We've heard the sermon. 70% of eligible Americans have been vaccinated, boosted. At what point does the administration say, you know what, this strategy isn't working? We're going to...
Now, Craig Melvin once again, valid point. A valid point that a lot of people have gotten to the point where they're frustrated and realize, or at least they feel like they're being gamed. What is going on? What's the problem? All right, you told us to get vaxxed, we got vaxxed. You told us to get a booster, we got boosters. We're still catching COVID, we're still spreading COVID, we're still getting sick. Some of us, even though it may be low, dying from it, and we've got fully vaxxed. Why did I say that? Because a lady friend of mine, her friend, got vaxxed. A lot of people are vaxxed to the vax or fall off, boosted to the booster, them fell off, and they still catching COVID, they still getting deathly ill, and some are still dying. That's not everybody's story. That's not the majority of the story, but that is the story in some cases. So you got Democrats or Democratic voters, registered Democratic voters, you got non-affiliated voters, and you got Republicans saying, all right, obviously, this ain't getting us where we need to go. What you got up your sleeve other than keep sticking me in the arm?
Change strategies. 6 former administration officials last week wrote that open letter urging the administration to change course, to change strategy. Is it time?
We know. We still have a...
So obviously this is a cut interview, so we'll take it as it is. You need to change strategies. It's time to change strategies. What you guys are doing wasn't working. And don't make this about Trump. He probably wouldn't have had no better strategy either. But you need to get a better strategy. Now, me personally, Bob TV, best strategy was to have an all-hands-on approach on what can help you defeat this thing in your once it hits your body. I'm not talking about outside. See, the problem with these political leaders, the problem with most of these corporations, the problem with the media is they think that we got to defeat COVID the same way we got to defeat terrorism, preemptive strikes, hunt them down. But you got to understand terrorism, some of this terrorist ideologies are spiritually based. It's a mental thought process about life in general. So you can't defeat terrorism unless you can change the mind and heart of a person. It's just like, how can I defeat murders in America? You can't defeat it. All you can do is prosecute. You can't, you're going to always have fools that's going to go around murdering people. So what make you think that what you're doing right now is going to rid COVID in the world? It's a freaking disease. You can't control sickness and disease. It's going to happen. What you can do is figure out a way for it to stop taking control in you. It's like you can't defeat a white supremacy ideology, but you can find ways to defeat its impact on other people's personal life, mainly changing giving some harsh laws that if you do practice this is what's going to happen to you. It's not going to get rid of the ideology, but it will criminalize the ideology that make a person think twice before they do something stupid. So this whole mindset of what are we going to do to eliminate COVID from the world is stupid. You're not going to eliminate it. It's already been told from the NIH, which Dr. Fauci is in charge of, or he's not, from the World Health Organization, from the CDC, you're going to be dealing with this forever. How do you deal with something that's going to be here forever? Vaccinate if you have a true vaccine. And when I say a true vaccine, 1 or 2 shots, that's it. Bada boom, bada bang, you ain't got to worry about it for. This ain't no vaccine. These are shots. You call it a vaccine and that's fine. You can label it, but its job is not vaccination. It is a treatment. And the purpose of the treatment is to not overwhelm the hospitals. That's it. The purpose of getting a smallpox shot is to stop smallpox from taking over your body. Polio the same way. The measles the same way.
Number of people that is in the millions of Americans who have not been vaccinated and could be vaccinated, and we are urging them to get vaccinated because it will save their life. And how do we know that?
You can't guarantee that. You don't know that. It can save a lot of lives, but it can't save everybody's life. And why are you not preaching about the 5-day process of early treatment? And that's my problem. That can save lives too. But you're on here with Craig talking about vaccine, and you just said out of your mouth they now have treatments that you could take within 5 days that can do the same thing. But why you're not talking about that, VP?
Because I think the recent numbers are well over 95% of the people who are in hospitals right now because of COVID.
Sure.
Or who have died were unvaccinated. That is still current, relevant, important.
Now, let me explain that. I never would tell somebody that's not vaccinated to don't try to prepare yourself health-wise. There's still a number of people vaccinated that's still in the hospital. And you got to understand, hospitalization means just registered to get treatment. So if you got a headache, you go to the hospital, what they call the, if you go to emergency room, or if you go to urgent care, and you register, once you sign that paperwork, that's a registration to get treatment. That is considered hospitalization. A lot of these COVID numbers are from that. People going in to get something else done, but they come to find out they got COVID. But the way they make it, the way they spend this is the hospitals are being overran with people who are about to die. Oh God, they're about to die from COVID. We ain't got no more beds. We ain't got no more ventilators. That's not happening with the Omicron. Now, that happened before, but it's not happening with this variant. And yes, the vaccine is keeping a lot of people from getting to that situation, but there's some people that's not keeping from that situation because of their preconditions. But yet most of the people was not going through that process anyway, whether they had the vaccine or not. So what they're doing is they're trying to focus on vax versus vax, not still understand that most unvaxxed people are not going through that. CDC has admitted this. The World Health Organization has admitted that. They already done told you the numbers of people that are unvaxxed, what the percentage of them surviving this thing and beating this thing without being vaxxed. And yes, you have a percentage of people that surviving this thing and beating this thing that are vaxxed. But just because they're unvaxxed don't mean they're not treating themselves. Don't mean they're not doing precautions. So she's trying to spin this, that the bottom line is all these people, the people who getting vaccinated, they're not going to be going through all this stuff. And it's true, most of them not. But some of them are. And yes, a lot of unvaxxed are overwhelmed in the hospital. It's because they don't know any other way. They're not being told about early treatment. You're already shaming them from taking all the stuff that can possibly help them. You're calling it horse pill. You're calling it bleach. Hydroxychloroquine is not a bleach. Clorox is a bleach. Hydroxychloroquine is a medical treatment. It's being used for things such as mobile issues, neurological issues, and it's being taken consistently all over the country. Now, what Trump messed up is he only talked about that. He didn't have a real doctor to talk about the effectiveness of a 3-pronged strategy to deal with COVID within 5 days, and that's hydroxychloroquine in low dosage, azithromycin, and zinc. This is not medical advice, but they have been doing trials to see its effectiveness in 5 days. And some of these studies are out there. People like these people are not going to tell you about it. You got to go look it up yourself.
Information, and those are the facts. The booster will reduce anyone's likelihood of, if they contract COVID, getting sick, being hospitalized, and God forbid, death.
But we've known this.
Hold up. Now, that pissed Craig off to the point he had to get out the seat, man. You ever been so pissed off you in an argument that you about to come out the seat? No, I'm serious. Look in the background. You ain't going to see it. The camera ain't going to show you him. But it's a glass piece back there where you can see him moving in the background. Let me go back to it. You see that little glass piece back there with whatever, the wars or whatever in the background? You see Craig leaning to the side. Pretty Ricky is what they call him. You see him leaning to the side. And watch this expression.
The booster will reduce anyone's likelihood of, if they contract COVID, getting sick, being hospitalized, and God forbid, death.
But we've known this for...
Basically, you said that about the first shot. Then you said that about the second shot. Then you're saying that about the booster. That ain't enough. Israel about to come out with another booster, and most of y'all follow Israel. And that ain't enough. When is enough is enough is enough? You want us to be sitting up here, you want us to be COVID medical junkies. You want the pharmaceutical industry to literally tie a rubber band around our arm and keep shooting us with this stuff. Come on, man. Come on.
For months now.
Yo,
at what point does the administration...
Let me hurry up, man. I'm supposed to be doing laundry, man. I totally forgot about it.
Administration acknowledge these people aren't going to get the shot. They're just not going to do it.
I don't believe in giving up on people, Craig.
Craig made a good point. You're not going to get people that's going to get the shot. If you are a horrible salesman and you didn't sell the car, don't look at the person, maybe that person not interested in the car. Maybe you're trying to, maybe he's not interested in that car. Maybe he's not interested in that color. It's your job as a salesman to be so good at selling to the point where they see the need of the car, the joys of the car, in order for them to come out of their pocket to get the car. So we got to talk about this. We're going to talk about this on another video. Don't you blame the voter, blame your politician. Don't you blame the people because they didn't buy into your horrible sales approach on getting vaccinated, because it seemed like you're desperate. And I told you I've been in sales before. Well, some of my biggest money I made in sales, I used fear of what will happen if you don't have this product. And then a year later, I lost most of those sales. How you start something is how you got to maintain something. And then at some time you got to realize it ain't working. You need to learn how to do it another way. Stop trying to convince them to do it your way. You got to find another way to do it in order to get them on board to your way. Because obviously the first approach ain't doing it.
I really don't. I don't believe on giving up on people. If we know what can help people.
Now look at her. This is why she would never be president unless Joe Biden died. I don't believe in giving up on people. I really don't. Did you say that about all those black people that you put in jail? You know, did you say that? You know, come on. I don't believe in giving up people. You know, you sure didn't believe in giving up people when they told you it's time to release them, but you wanted to keep them in the prison so they could fight these forest fires. I don't believe in giving them up. I don't believe in giving these people up. I need them to fight these forest fires for pennies on the dollar and risk their lives. I don't believe in giving up on people. Get out of here with that mess.
Isn't it our responsibility as leaders to keep urging people to take advantage of?
Isn't our responsibility as leaders to keep urging people? Well, first of all, a leader leads by example. Second, if that leader believes they're leading, they turn around and don't have nobody following them, then that person needs to realize they're not a freaking leader. And that's what's happening in this situation. Our leadership in Washington, D.C. is not properly leading us in the right direction when it comes to this. And now you got people turning the other way and say, I ain't following that fool. The way you're going about this, and not just you, Madam Vice President, but a whole administration, and like I said, I believe Trump would have been the same way, is you're losing people. And you're starting to lose the people that was with you. And now they're like, yeah, I feel like I'm getting played. Now, people like me and, you know, I got close friends and stuff like that. We've been knowing the game from day one. That's why, much as I love my mother said, Robert, gonna get the booster. Just gonna get the booster. Sorry, Ma. I'm glad you guys got it. But like New Edition, you can count me out. I'm not getting another booster. Y'all not sticking me with no other jabs. Give me freedom, give me liberty, or give me death. I'm not going to have y'all try to force stuff on me. I'd rather die. Now, I'm almost done.
What is available?
She's trying her best, trying her hard. See, her both of them approval rating has hit an all-time low, and it's mainly because of this. It's not the Build Back Better. It's not the John Lewis voting rights bill, because most people are not even paying attention to Build Back Better or John Lewis voting rights bill. They're paying attention to how aggressively, fashionistically, authoritarian, I know ain't no such thing a word, authoritarianly you are about this vaccine and this mandate, to the point that the courts had to strike a certain part of it down, most, the main parts. I don't give up on people. I don't give up. Get out of here.
To them. I do believe that sometimes people may not be ready for whatever reason is their reason.
Somebody get a violin and couple of guitars and let's raise Sam Cooke from the dead and come up with a new song called I Do Believe. Because she literally is singing one of them old school crooner songs right about now. Let's listen to it.
Believe that sometimes people may not be ready for whatever reason is their reason. But if you don't give up, you might catch them on that day where they say, you know what? It's time for me to reconsider this.
Okay.
You caught them on that day to reconsider this when you told them after 18, 19 years on a job, if you don't get vaccinated, you're going to lose your job. You can't get more convincing than that. That is a soft takeover. That is called a chokehold. You put somebody in the cripper crossface, you got them in the Kurt Angle lock, of course they're going to tap out. No matter how bad they don't want to tap out, they're going to tap out or they're going to pass out because they in a rear naked chokehold. And if they don't tap out, they're going to lose all consciousness and possibly die if that referee don't come in to break the hold. And that's what you and this administration did to the American people when it came to their livelihood. And now you're getting a backlash as a result of it. Now your approval rates suck. And Trump, a frog, a dog, a cat can run for office and beat y'all in the midterms. And probably beat you in 2024. Guys got to get it together, man. You got to get it together.
The 500 million tests that have been ordered that are going to be sent to every American, do we know when those are going out?
Shortly. Though they're going to go out shortly. They've been ordered.
The 500 million tests that's supposed to go out, when they going to go out? She don't even have a date on when these tests is going to go out. They already took my tax dollars that's going to pay these corporations easy money. Easy freaking money. They didn't have to work hard for this money. All you have to do is act like you know how to produce some tests. You got some tests? We buying. I take 10 of those. She don't even have a date. You're here on national news, NBC exclusive. You're on national news and you can't tell people when these kits gonna come out. And shame on Biden to trot you out to talk about this subject and not prepare you with a date.
I have to look at the current information. I think it's going to be by next week. But soon.
I think it's going to be by next week. I don't know. Maybe.
Absolutely soon. And it is a matter of urgency for us.
Should we have done that sooner?
We are doing it.
But should we have done it sooner?
We are doing it.
You see what I mean? Answer the man question. Shouldn't we have done that earlier? We're doing it. Shouldn't we have done that? We're doing it. Just say yes or no. Because this ain't making you look better. This is making you look even worse. I'm telling you, she's the person that I guarantee you, she was not good at dodgeball when she was younger. She went out and played dodgeball and she ducked right in front of the doggone ball. Because that's what she's doing right now.
And to be clear, a short time ago, an official at the White House confirmed that those tests will be going out by the end of the month. There'll be more information regarding.
So now Craig's saying, well, we finally got a Biden official to say the test going out by the end of the month. By the end of the month? It's still not a date. And then when the end of the month comes, they'll probably say, well, we expect it to come out by the end of the month, but give it another couple of weeks. I tell you, boy.
Those tests tomorrow. The White House official saying that the 500 million at-home tests sent out later this month, they expect all of the contracts to be awarded over the next 2 weeks. Let's talk about the pandemic strategy. And to do that, I want to bring in former Republican Florida Congressman Carlos Curbelo. He is an MSNBC political analyst.
Now, you can go watch this, about the panelists. I'm not going to go through that. I'm actually trying to handle some other business that I need to get to right now. And I got to go work tonight and I ain't got no sleep, and I got to stop it. Stop it, Robert. So I'm not going to go in that. We may do that a little bit later, but I'm not going to. Craig Melvin, MSNBC. Pretty Ricky was, they call him, did a decent interview. And she couldn't even handle that, man. She couldn't even handle that. Craig asked some simple question. Not the question I would ask. I would have went hardcore. That's why I'm not the guy to do interviews, man. People like, man, what? Can I come on your show? I'm not good at interviewing, and I'm going to always ask you guys to give me the questions. No matter how hard or soft they are, I'm going to ask them on behalf of you. And they may say something that, I'd rather just keep it just the way it is. So, Craig Melvin, take this off. Interviews Kamala Harris. Asked her some decent questions. And she's trying to play dodgeball. And every time she go to the left, the ball hit her right smack in the doggone face. She is not a good politician. She's a propped up politician. She was propped up by Willie Brown, and then Willie Brown propped her up all the way up to Attorney General because Willie Brown was getting Willie Brown was Willie Brown was smacking it, flipping, rub it down. Robert, come on, you're supposed to be a spiritual person. I'm just telling you how it is. Willie Brown wanted to hook her up. Why? Because she was hooking Willie Brown up. You shouldn't say that about the. It's true. She made her ranks up like that. And look, it's a lot of guys that if they could do that, they would do it too. If they can use a woman to get political favor and political position, they do too. Now, eventually, because of the strategy they used in that area, she made it all the way to Attorney General. She was voted in by the people of California, mainly because that particular district didn't have much to vote on. As Attorney General, she was horrible Attorney General. But Democrats figure, hey, that's the best we got, so let's go send her to Capitol Hill. And this is what we got now. She